definition of reconciliation. It's not hard. It's, when you hear words like this, just break them down to their root, and then all of a sudden they make sense. When something is brought together and then torn apart, that's when it's in discombobulation, it's in array. But reconciliation brings it back together. Here's the definition. The first one, to restore to friendship or harmony. Now when we're talking about Scripture, we're talking about reconciliation. God, when He created Adam and Eve, He created a perfect world, He created perfect people in His own image, without sin, blameless, and He gave them one thing. He said, do not. Mark did such a good job last week of describing the dispensations. And we're going to use exactly what he talked about last week in a lot of places here. The first dispensation, the dispensation of innocence, they were innocent. They still had a free will. And that's the important part about reconciliation, is you can't have reconciliation unless you're dealing with people who have the ability to separate from you. And they did. God created with Adam and Eve the ability to deny Him, the ability to sin, the ability to walk away, the ability to say, no, God, I don't want to do what you said. And that's exactly what happened. They did eat of the food that He said, don't eat of. And there are consequences. He said, I have to separate you from you now. There's been this rendering, this tearing apart. And ever since that day, ever since that moment when man was torn away from that union with God, his dream was reconciliation. To restore to friendship or harmony. When mankind sinned, when Adam and Eve entered sin in the world, there was that disharmony. You know that song we sing sometimes, I'm a friend of God? We're going to talk about that. That's when we are reconciled. But at that part, God says, when He looked for Adam, He goes, Adam, where are you? He didn't even know Him anymore. He was separated from His dear children that He created. And the second definition, the action of making one's view or belief comparable with another. If we are living in disharmony, if we have separate views, God's view is this way, our view is this way, and when I say ours, I'm talking about mankind that is separating themselves from God, we're in disharmony. And we come back in and bring those two back together and start thinking the way God does. That's when we have reconciliation. The last one is to reunion. Now you've probably been to, how many here have been to your high school reunion or a family reunion or something where you get back together? What it means is you're separated. Maybe you've moved to Montana and you went to school in California and you all get back together to a reunion. And that's what reconciliation is. That's to reunion with each other, to reunion with God, to become one with God again. Let me give you an example out of Scripture of what this looks like, reconciliation. There's a story in Acts where Paul's going on his second missionary journey. And on his first missionary journey, he took this young man named John Mark. And when they got right in the throes of the heat of the ministry, they were going from city to city, and they were being not welcomed in a lot of those cities, and not treated very well. And the ministry became really hard. And right in the middle, now think if you were a soldier. All right, and your sergeant says, I want you and you and you to go take that hill. And you all three started going up that hill. And then halfway up, one of the guys says, not me. I don't care what happens to me. I'm not going up that hill with you. He says, but this is our job. This is our duty. We need to go up that hill. We need to take it. I need to have you have my back. And he goes, sorry, I'm out of here. And he books you down the hill. In the military, that would be a death sentence, right? That would be treason, and you would be, probably by the time you got to the bottom of the hill, somebody probably already would have shot you for, what's the word? Desertion. Exactly right. Well, John Mark, halfway through this missionary journey when things were getting tough, he says, I'm not staying with you anymore. I'm leaving. So Paul has this taste in his mouth for John Mark. He deserted him in the ministry. And so when Barnabas came to him, when they were getting ready to go on their second missionary journey, we see that in Acts 15. You can read the whole story in 36 to 41. Their disagreement was so sharp, they separated. And that's that word that's opposite of reconciliation. It's that separation, that rendering, that tearing apart. Paul said, he will not go with me on this missionary journey. I don't trust him. He doesn't have my back. And Barnabas means son of encouragement. He was also the cousin to John Mark. He said, he's changed, Paul. He's changed. He does have our back. He does care for us. He's learned. He's grown. He's matured. And that agreement was so strong that Paul said, no. And Barnabas said, fine. I will not go with you on this missionary journey. Me and Mark, we will go a different direction. And so he took Silas and they went on a different direction. That's what we know as the second missionary journey. And the reconciliation part. Later on, in 2 Timothy, which is one of his last letters, it was a letter to a pastor, a young pastor, Timothy. And years had gone by. If I can think right, probably about 8 years had gone by from the time he went on the second missionary journey until he wrote Timothy and Titus. And Mark improved himself. Barnabas was right. He had changed. He had matured. He was in the thick of it. He did stay in the fight. He was in it. And so this is what we find out. This is that reconciliation. This is that change of heart that Paul had. And he goes, I now trust him. And he goes to Timothy in 2 Timothy 4:11, says, bring Mark with you when you come, for I need him. And he goes on to say, and he's beneficial for the ministry. That's reconciliation. Paul changing his mind. Now God, when we walked away from God, I'm sure to God that was one of the hardest things that he ever had to endure. He made this creation, and he said from the very beginning, all he wanted people that would love him for who he is. That's all he wanted. I want people that will love me for who I am, and people then that I in turn can just lavish my love upon. We have a scripture that says that when we get to heaven, when we leave this earthly bondage and we go to heaven, that eyes have not seen nor ears heard, has entered the mind of man the good that God has for those who are called according to his purpose, those who trust in Christ as their Savior. We can't even imagine. That's what God has always desired for us. And from the very beginning, he wanted reconciling man and God. You know, as we walked through the dispensations last week, we walked through the dispensation of innocence when they were, and the dispensation of conscience when the whole world went awry. And he really wanted the whole world to be reconciled to him. Didn't even give him a whole lot. He said, just follow me. And the whole world turned their back on him to the point where all he could find was Noah and his family. And he kind of did a do-over. And he started again with them and said, now all I want you to do is just follow me so I can love you. And they didn't do it, did they? They turned away from to the point, it says in one point, that he searched the whole world. He was looking over the whole world. And he found one man. And that was Abraham, who still believed in one God. The whole rest of the world had torn apart from God. I'm sure that was breaking God's heart. And that was never God's intention to say, I'm going to narrow my focus to only one group of people. His focus was, what he always carried with him was this idea that I want salvation to be for everyone. I want everybody in this world to have the opportunity to be reconciled to me, back in harmony, back in union, back in friendship with me. That's my desire. But right now, I only see one man who even acknowledges that I exist. So he made a covenant with Abraham. And he started that relationship with the nation of Israel. Pretty much the rest of the world he called Gentiles or dogs or Greeks or heathens. He had no relationship with them. The only way during that whole period of time that he dealt with Israel as a nation that you could be saved was to come out of your Gentile lifestyle, become a Jew, and follow the Jewish law. Very difficult to be saved if you weren't a Jew in those days. God continually was looking for an offer of reconciliation in every dispensation. His first choice was everyone. He went with plan B. And then Christ died. And that penalty was paid. Just like that song. I love that song because it kind of goes through the whole gospel. Jesus Christ willingly gave up his life. God in flesh. So there's only one way we can have reconciliation with his creation I made. And when I say I made, we made, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, the whole unity, the whole Godhead. So there's only one way we can have reconciliation, and that's for me to die. I have to come to earth as a man in the person of Jesus Christ. I have to willingly go to the cross, and I have to die for the sins of the world. Then, and only then, can there be an offer of reconciliation. When the Apostle Paul was on the road to Damascus, that message that he had been carrying since the beginning of time, he goes, you can all see God sighing with relief going, it's time again. The world's at the right place. I have the right person. And he opens his plan again. And he says, I want this opportunity not just for a small, narrow group of people, but for the whole entire creation, the whole world. I want everybody to have the opportunity because that's what Jesus died on the cross for, was for everyone. And now in this dispensation of grace, this time that we live in, this period of time, God says the only thing you have to do, the only thing, you don't have to follow the law, you don't have to have a list of do's and don'ts, the only thing you have to do is to trust Christ as your Savior, which means believe that God came in flesh, willingly went to the cross and paid the penalty for your sins. Isn't that an amazing thing? And it's so simple. And Paul goes on to say, under the how, in 1 Corinthians 6:12, listen to this. It says, all things are lawful for me, but not all things are profitable. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. Our job is not to follow the law anymore, not to have this rule book of do's and don'ts and checklists. Our job is to get it in line with who we are in Christ and try to live that way. It says all things are profitable. All things are lawful. All things are lawful. which means, can you go out and have a drink? Sure. But it's a bigger thing that we live by. We have to take a look at what we're doing. Because if going out and having that drink, if we go out and have a drink with an alcoholic, and that alcoholic is looking at us as an example of how to live his life, and he opens up and starts drinking again, then we have to look at it as, wow, is that choice profitable? So it's not only about us. As a matter of fact, this new time we live in is, it says you have to give up yourself, because we have been given that ministry of reconciliation. It says that we have been given the ministry of reconciliation. Those of us who trust Christ as their Savior. You know, the world is a dark and bleak place. Carl said we went and saw the movie, what is it, The Joker? Dark and bleak movie. And he said, don't go there if you're susceptible to dark and bleak movies. But it is good acting, and it is a representation of how bad this world can get. This world is a dark and nasty place. But we, as Christians, have the light. We have the ability not to be sucked in or controlled by that. We have the ability to live above that. We have the ability to give away ourselves and take on the person of Jesus Christ and let Him minister through us to this dark and dying world. We are the only light, and that's when it says that we have the ministry, we've been given the ministry of reconciliation. That means God still has given everybody a free choice. He said, I died for everybody, but that gift doesn't apply to everybody unless they accept it. That's the one thing you have to do. You have to reach out and say, yes, God, I take that free gift of eternal life and I apply it to my life. That blood, that sacrifice that you made on the cross, I apply it to my life. Then you're reconciled. And God says, welcome home, my dear, blessed child. It's an amazing thing. That's it. But we have that truth. And the world doesn't believe it. The world's a dark and dying place. So how do we do that? We need to reconcile our actions with our identity. I'm just going to go through these. I didn't want to list them because I don't want it to be a checklist of things that you think I have to do. This is just, it's almost a miracle. That God says, in this dark and dying world, you can be children of light. You can live as examples. And I will give it to you. All you have to do is just yield yourself. Let go of your ego and let me take control of your life, and this will be your identity. Listen to these things. We are not controlled by the flesh. Romans 8:9 says this. But you are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit, if indeed the Spirit of God dwells in you. Now these things aren't. The only if is, if the Spirit of God dwells in you. And that means you trust Christ as your Savior. Once you trust Christ as your Savior, it says you are no longer in the flesh, you are Spirit. And we can live in that Spirit. We can give up. We don't have to. I love that these things are not if-thens, or if you really struggle hard, and if you says, no, your identity is you are no longer in the flesh, but you are in the Spirit if the Spirit of God dwells in you. If you trusted Christ. That's how we learn to do that. But that is our identity. And sometimes we give credence to the flesh and say, oh, you know, I live in this flesh body and it's so hard and I can never do that and I can't do that. And God says, you don't have to. You're not even yours, you're mine. Just let me work through you. I will give you what you need. The second thing, we are Christ's. 1 Corinthians 6:20. For you were bought with a price. Very strong price. Christ died on the cross. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. We're no longer slaves to sin. We're no longer owned by Satan in this world. We are own possessions of God. And he says, I will give you everything you need to live as shining lights, examples, to do that ministry of reconciliation. The next thing, we are not slaves to sin. And that's the saying, it's like, it doesn't say you can overcome with a lot of effort. These verses, the reason I'm saying their identity, because it says these are already things that are in place. Now it's your job just to figure out how to implement them. But your identity are these things. You are no longer a slave to sin. Period. End of story. You're not. You can choose to live that way, but you are no longer. Just like if somebody came to a slave and said, here's your freedom papers. You can walk. And he turns around and goes, oh, no. I still have to work as a slave. That's all I know. I can't do. That's kind of what God did. He goes, you're free. You're free. You don't have to be bound by that sin anymore. But we can choose to turn around and go back into that bondage. He says, you are free. That's your identity. Listen, Romans 6:6. Our old man was crucified with Christ, that the body of sin might be done away with, that we should no longer be slaves to sin. Past tense, done deal, end of story. Next one. We are no longer selfish. We are not selfish. I know a lot of selfish people, even in the body of Christ. Sometimes I can even be selfish. And then I look at verses like this and says, that's not who you are. Period. You being selfish is your choice, not mine. You're not willing to be. You do not have to be. I can take that from you if you give me yourself. And then it gives me hope. Like, wow. Okay. So I do have strength to overcome. I do have strength to live for you. Listen to this verse. 2 Corinthians 5:15. And he died for all, that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and rose again. So we have the ability. That's our identity. This is kind of cool to listen to this thing and say, this isn't maybes. This isn't if we work hard enough. He goes, this is who you are. This is who you already are. You're already in this. This is already your definition. Now live that way. So you're no longer selfish. And in Galatians 2:20 it says, we have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. He says, I will live through you. I will give you that strength. I will give you the power. I will give you the desire. I will give you everything you need to be 100% in my identity if you will just let go of yourself and follow me. Like the song said, follow me. This is a cool one too. We are, right now, as we speak, as we stand on this earth, citizens of heaven. We're not earthly citizens anymore. We're not governed by the rules that this flesh and this world has for us. I'm not saying don't listen to the government. I'm talking about the laws of sin and death. We never have to worry about sin or death again. We're alive together with him. We are seated with God in the heavenlies. Now therefore you are no longer strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God. And it says we are seated with Christ in the heavenlies. That's who and where we are. We're just ambassadors on this earth for God. Just like if we put an ambassadorship to Iran and some Americans went over, they're not following those laws of Iran. They're following the laws of America in that embassy. That's what they call diplomatic immunity. And we are taking who we are to them. But we're not citizens of where we were sent. We are still citizens of America. And that's what God says. It says the moment you trusted Christ as your Savior, you are a citizen of heaven. You have the rules and regulations and lifestyle and everything and the glory that goes along with where your citizenship is. And I'm placing you in another place so that you can be a representative for me. And that's who we are. We are citizens of heaven. We are members one of another. Not if we... That says our identity. It says, I am spiritually tied to you, Art. I'm spiritually tied to you, Ron. I'm spiritually tied to you, Cheryl. So, everyone in this room, I am spiritually connected. It says we are knitted and fitted together, and we can no longer be considered ourselves. We are us. That's what he says. When I look at one of you, I look at all of you. You are members one of another. You are my body. That is who we are, not what we can be. Romans 12:5. So we, being many, are one body in Christ, and individually members of one another. Sometimes it's a hard relationship to figure out. But it's just like I can't say, like Paul is an example, I can't just say to my eye, I don't want you anymore, and rip your eye out, and still function. We need to figure out that relationship that we have with each other and make it who we are. And the last one, our identity, it says we are united. We are united. It says that there should be no schism. Schism means tearing apart or arguments that lead to separation in the body. But that the members should have the same care for one another. Instead of finding reasons to not be together, it says we need reasons to be together because we are unified. We are heavenly. You said it. I'll end with this. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has blessed us, not some, not a few, not this one and that one. Blessed be the Father, God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has blessed us with every spiritual blessing in the heavenly places in God. What a place. What an identity. We have been reconciled. We have the only thing that the only answer that reconciles this world. And we're ambassadors for that. It says that's why we've been given that ministry of reconciliation, that we can take that to the world. I want you guys to have a blessed week. Let's pray. God, let us just remember that we are your ambassadors. We have this message. We have this duty. And all we have to do is be who you've made us. Just allow you to work through us and not hinder by getting in the way. We ask this all and thank you for every person here. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.